The Bhagavad Gita opens on the ancient battlefield of Kurukshetra, diagnosing a psychological crisis that mirrors the modern struggle with exhaustion and overwhelm. The warrior Arjuna experiences a total collapse of will. His paralysis is born from the crushing cognitive weight of anticipating the horrific results of his impending actions. His mind buckles under the weight of a future he cannot control. When the pressure of these anticipated outcomes becomes unendurable, the human response is to seek a total exit. We freeze, attempting to embrace inaction as a shield against further suffering. Modern burnout operates on this same frequency. When the stakes of our work become our entire identity, the simple act of performing a task triggers an internal shutdown. Krishna's counterargument is immediate and uncompromising. Stillness is a physical and biological impossibility. This motion is prescribed by the three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. These modes of nature force all beings to act. Attempting to resist this momentum requires massive energy. Resisting the natural flow of action creates internal friction that accelerates exhaustion. We inject this friction into our lives by trying to capture the fruit of our work. We act, but we obsess over the wealth, status, or applause that we hope will follow. Action is biologically mandatory, yet attaching our ego to unpredictable results is destructive. To survive, we need a mechanism that allows us to work without clinging to the outcome. The Gita proposes the strategy of karma yoga. This is the practice of maintaining high operational output while holding zero attachment to the outcome. By shifting cognitive focus entirely to the quality of the current process, the anxiety of a future result has no room to take root. Historical commentators identified this as a pragmatic tool for mental health. Swami Vivekananda observed that chronic attachment to a result is mistaken for duty. Vivekananda argued the only path out of misery is to give up the idea of reward. By resigning results to a higher power, we reclaim the freedom to act. Relinquishing the fruit removes the primary source of performance anxiety, allowing the worker to enter a state of tireless, focused flow. Chapter 5, verse 10, delivers a central metaphor for this psychological shield. It states that one who acts without attachment, reposing all action on the divine, is not tainted by the stress of the world, as a lotus leaf is untouched by water. The karma yogi plunges into the chaos of work and takes all the necessary hits, but they remain internally waterproof. The water of the world's demands rolls off them without soaking into their identity. This shift transforms the nature of work itself. By removing self-interest, the labor becomes a making sacred, a spontaneous self-giving to a greater consciousness. The text calls this yajna, or sacrifice, action that no longer causes bondage because it is no longer performed for a limited ego. Surrendering the results transforms the daily grind from a brutal mechanism of survival into an ongoing practice of liberation. Sustaining this state of detached mastery requires a foundation in the body. Mindset is insufficient without physiological grounding. The Gita prescribes strict moderation in eating, sleeping, and recreation. Chapter 6 explains that yoga destroys sorrow for those whose habits are regulated. This middle path neutralizes material pain, providing sustained leverage to work without the massive energy spikes that lead to a crash. This operational equanimity functions as a dynamic, resilient baseline. It allows for high-level performance while maintaining an internal stillness that protects against the external environment. Only a fiercely regulated physical and mental system can contain the power generated by selfless, detached action. Arjuna's transformation is complete as he finally grasps his weapon. He stands ready to execute his duty, entirely devoid of the panic that paralyzed him. His internal conflict is resolved because he is no longer fighting for his own gain. The crushing weight of the outcome has vanished. This realization connects our daily work to a broader, universal symphony of action. Our tasks are no longer isolated struggles, but part of a larger order. Aligning with this universal law transforms the exhausted laborer into an instrument of a larger purpose. We begin to move with the effortless momentum of the system itself. True inner peace is found not by escaping our duties, but by plunging into them with full dedication and the surrender of every outcome.